I'm Matt, and I lead Hope Community Church in Wigston with my wife Lou. Been married 15 years, got 2 kids as well who are 11 and 6. Who am I as a Christian author? I'd say I'm a Christian first, a child of God, and I'm an author because of my journey as a Christian. So I'm an author by accident, but I'm a Christian on purpose. I love the Lord, have followed him for as long as I can remember. And the book is a bit about my journey as a leader, which definitely comes after my relationship with the Lord. This book really is an opportunity after maybe 12 years in leadership to share a little bit about stuff that I've learned. It's the book I wish that I'd read before starting out. You get taught an awful lot of stuff when you're training about the Bible, about leadership, but there's also a lot of stuff you don't get taught about the internal struggles and the internal battles, but also the huge joys of leading in church, whatever your context, the fun that comes from seeing the kingdom of God being built. And so this book really is an attempt to capture some of that joy and that fun, but also some of the challenges and how we pursue the Lord in some of those battles that come in church leadership, whether you're paid or unpaid. And that's kind of the heart behind the book. So there was a period of about 3 months where 6 or 7 people came up to me and said, Matt, I'm considering going into church leadership. I've been asked to be an elder in my church, or I feel this call to becoming an ordained minister, or whatever it might be. And what do I need to know? And they were asking me that question. What mistakes did you make? And what things have you learned? And what are the good things and the hard things? And what do I need to know about managing my time well? Because I've got a young family and I've got other responsibilities as well. How do I do that really well? And I looked around, I couldn't see an awful lot of stuff to give to them, to point them towards, an awful lot of material. There's a lot of stuff on church leadership, but not an awful lot of stuff on how to prepare for leadership or the things to think about. And so I just wrote my thoughts down and my experiences with the thought that I could just give a PDF to people and just send it through. And as I wrote it, I thought, I don't know, I wonder if this might be helpful for a slightly wider audience. And so I approached some publishers, and my wonderful publishers, Instant Apostle, said that they thought this was worth doing. And so that kind of took on a bit of a life of its own. And I didn't just want to talk about the battles of church leadership, because a lot of church leaders, when they talk about leadership, they talk about the hard things. There's some wonderful, exciting things about leadership. And so I wanted to talk about the joys, the blessings of leading in church, but also the battles. And I also wanted to encourage people to read it together, maybe in a staff team or as a leadership team or a group of people going through Bible college. And so I've got little questions at the end of each chapter just to help people think a little bit more deeply about what these things might mean for them, how they might approach these battles, how they might make the most out of these blessings of church leadership. Obviously, I'd love for people who are considering either becoming an elder or leading a ministry or coming onto staff or leading a church to read it and to be blessed by it. I think these are all the things that I wish I'd known. That's what the title says. I think to be forewarned is to be forearmed. But at the same time, as I've spoken to church leaders, they said that this has been a helpful reminder to them, to people who are already leading churches, and maybe they've got off track slightly, just a reminder to keep the main thing. And also, I'm just aware that leadership is not just a church thing. There's people leading in every context of life, and while some of the stuff is context specific, actually the battle and blessing of leadership is similar in all spheres of life. And maybe for those who are in church wanting to know how they can support their leaders well, or what it's like to be a leader in a church, this might be a helpful insight, a kind of behind the scenes look at some of the things that your church leaders go through or wrestle with. So I heard about the Good News Bookshop from a friend of mine, Michelle Arthur, and she's recently published a really beautiful, wonderful book called Trophy of Grace, which is marking her story from a place of real hurt and pain and brokenness into freedom and healing. And so she put me onto these guys as people who might want to get behind this book and be encouraged by it and encourage others to read it as well. And it's been great working with them so far.